What's up, you guys? We're going to be going live in just a few minutes. Just waiting for Gavin Newsom here in the press conference. Thanks for being here. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me a big like. Let's have YouTube push this out to more people. I appreciate you guys just hanging out, waiting for Gavin to come on, and we will start the stream in just a second. Thanks, you guys, for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, and go ahead and throw into the chat box here. Let me know what you think here. I wonder what questions Gavin is going to dodge today. What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? Thanks for being here, you guys. I appreciate you guys. We're just waiting for Gavin to come on. As soon as he does, we will jump on here and do the stream. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Throw your comments in the chat box here. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Would love your questions. Of course, Gavin won't answer any of those. But we're going to have some fun reacting to his comments, as always. And so we're going to go live here in just a couple of minutes. Well, we're already live, but we're going to jump on here in a couple of minutes. But do me a favor, hit that like button. What that'll do is push this out to more people on YouTube. Let's get a bunch of people on this stream. I think last time we had 55 was our max. So I want to get above 55 today. That's the goal. Let's get some more people on here. We got 10 likes already. Thank you so much. And here we go. As soon as he comes on, we're going to jump on. But we got 1:30 left. I'll jump on here in the meantime anyway. Answer any questions that you might have. Comments. We'll throw your comments up on the screen. We're going to talk about what's happening. And my live is going to be better than Gavin's live. That's what we want. We want my live reacting to his press conference to be better than his press conference itself. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Here we go in just a couple minutes here. Hey, what's up, you guys? What is happening? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the live stream here. So what we're going to do here today, let's make sure we got everything working here. We do. We got 19 people on already, 14 likes. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the chats, you guys. And thanks for the support of the channel. You can also throw super chats in, which, of course, I will greatly appreciate to support this channel and everything that I'm doing. But today, guys, we are going to have some fun. And we are going to cover the Gavin Newsom press conference, which should be starting shortly. I believe that the purpose of this is to open a new vaccine center. So we're going to see what Gavin has to say. We're going to first we're going to probably see the parade of folks that come on and talk about how great Gavin Newsom is. I think that should be a lot of fun. And if you notice, guys, he used to do these streams in like a little web conference, like a Zoom meeting. I think that because of the recall and because of everything that's happening, I think Gavin realized, hey, he's got to get out and talk to people, and he's got to have all of his supporters talking about how great he is because he is facing a recall election. And by the way, guys, if you haven't signed the petition, let me show it to you real quick. Let me go to that website here. Let me do a little screen share and show it to you. So here's the website. It's recallgavin2020.com. If you haven't signed the petition, I know that we're over the 1.5 million votes. However, the reason that it's so important to sign that petition still is because they are going to verify the signatures. So Michael Miller had a great comment. Here it is. I'm going to throw this on the broadcast. So Michael says that now they want, what's up, Mike? Thanks for being here, man. He says that now they want signature verification. Yes. What's funny to me is that, Gavin Newsom's the guy that doesn't want voter ID, doesn't want signature verification, mail-in ballots all the way when it came to the November election, right? But for this recall, he wants all the signatures verified, of course. And so that's pretty funny to me that that's the way that he's running it. But of course, hey, it's self-serving, right? So very interesting stuff. And as soon as Gavin's press conference starts, we're going to head over there. I'm going to throw it right up here on the screen. We're going to get your comments. For now, let's say hello to everyone that's on here. So we had John was one of the first ones on. Thanks for jumping on here. He said that all he ever talks about is coronavirus. Yes, scare techniques, fear mongering, all that stuff is part of the Gavin Newsom regime of governing here. So that is really all he talks about. Riva said, here comes a bunch of BS. Wow, there's a lot of people on here that share my sentiment about Gavin Newsom. Do we have any Gavin Newsom fans on the broadcast? Is anyone on here that loves Gavin? If you do, let me know. It'll be fun. Hey, I like both points of view, guys. I like differing points of view because, again, like I said to someone on Facebook the other day, if we just had a homogeneous society, everyone thought the same, felt the same, then, well, it would probably be like the left wants it, but that wouldn't be any fun. So in any event, here's the comment from, I already put this up, that Michael about the signature verification. That's right. And let's see who else is here. Ken, thanks for being here from Florida. Appreciate you. Great state of Florida with an amazing governor, right? Ron DeSantis is the man. I mean, really doing everything right over there. He opened up. He's got schools open. He's got businesses open. He's doing it the right way. Ron DeSantis, another great governor in Texas, is Greg Abbott, also doing a great job over there. Of course, we here in Southern California and in all of California are fortunate to have the Gav Man. Let's close everything while I eat at the French Laundry, right? Let's grab some water here. So we're just waiting for Gavin Newsom's press conference. It looks like he's running a little bit behind here. Let me know what you think here. Any questions for me? Anything that you want me to answer on the channel? We talk about all kinds of fun stuff: real estate, business, finance, politics. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, would love that too. We got 24 people on the stream. Thank you guys for being here. We're talking about the Gavin Newsom press conference, which is upcoming right now. They were supposed to start at 10:45, which is why we got rolling, but hey, that's all right. So topics in the news, guys, and I wanted to talk about this really quickly. At the last press conference, if you were watching my stream, what I found to be so interesting, Schaefer, thanks for being on. Schaefer says that Maxim sent him. All right, I love that. So in the last stream, what I found to be so interesting was that Gavin got all these questions fed to him, just total softball questions. And he was great with those questions. By the way, his favorite word is equity. Everything is equitable. Forest fires need to be handled with equity. Everything is with equity. I think he just likes to say that. I don't even know if he knows exactly what that means. But anyhow, beside the point, he got asked so many easy softball layup questions. I mean, it was mind-blowing. And then there was one guy there. There was one reporter who kept asking him these tough questions. It was fantastic. If you were here last time, let me know if you watched the broadcast, because it was amazing. I loved it. And to watch Gavin squirm and dodge and duck and weave and spin and use all of his political tricks to get out of those questions was really fascinating. I mean, it was really phenomenal to see. I'm sure he'll do that again. I'm sure that, that same reporter, I don't know if he's going to be there. Hopefully there's someone else that is there that can ask those tough questions. But you guys, thanks for being on. I got a question for you. Let me know here. If you could ask Gavin Newsom one question and you were at this press conference live, what would it be? Throw it in the chat box and I'll put it up here and we'll talk about it. We'll see what you think and we'll see what we think about this conference here. So Reva makes a good point. So you better hope that Newsom never has weather issues like Texas that knocks out the... okay, here we go, guys. By the way, the live stream is about to begin, but you better hope that Newsom never has power issues. That's for sure. I mean, we had them here in California. They actually voluntarily in California shut down the power grids because we were, people were using too much power. And yes, Reva, power grids are overloaded. Good luck with your Cali grids. Thanks a lot. I'm still here. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. We got 27 people on. That is awesome. Hit that like button. Smash that like button, as some YouTubers say, so we can get this out to more people. We are getting a message here that the live stream with Gavin is going to be starting shortly. So we are definitely going to head over there as soon as that starts. It looks like they're running just a little bit behind. Here's a question from Reva for Gavin. Hey, Gavin, how much help did you get from Pelosi to get into office? I will answer that one for you. The answer is a ton. If you guys don't know, I believe by some virtue of marriage or something, the esteemed Nancy Pelosi is Gavin Newsom's aunt. And so very strong political family, obviously, lots of money. And by the way, guys, I wanted to talk about, so a lot of you have asked me about the recall of Gavin. I put the website up. It's recallgavin2020.com. We put that up on the screen a little bit earlier. Let me do that one more time for you here. So that's what it looks like, Recall Gavin 2020. And as you'll see, we're actually already above the 1.5 million signatures that are needed to recall Gavin Newsom. Now, what does that really mean? First of all, unlike in November, Gavin Newsom wants signature verification on these. So they're going to verify all the signatures. They're going to make sure these are real people, that they're actually registered voters, that their addresses line up. And I guarantee you there are going to be a ton of signatures thrown out, which is why it's so important that for the recall, we actually get way above. I'm talking 1.7, 1.8, maybe even 2 million signatures, which I think is the goal. If we get to that, once they verify, as long as we're over the 1.5 requirement or whatever it is, 1.497, then what will happen is there's going to be a special election in California, I believe sometime in the summer. And the special election, the way that goes is it's actually very interesting. Anyone can throw their name on the ballot, maybe even me. Anyone can throw their name on the ballot. If you want me to throw my name on the ballot, let me know in the comments or give me a thumbs up. So anyone can throw their name on the ballot. I think you just have to get enough signatures on your own petition to jump on the ballot. And then once they have that, there are going to be two questions on the ballot. The first question is, should Gavin Newsom be removed? And the second question is, who do we elect instead? And then the person with the most votes wins. Now, one caveat, guys, there is no limit on the amount of money that people can spend on that election. So Gavin, with his connections, with his political influence, this is why, guys, he's pandering so hard to groups like the teachers' unions, because the teachers' unions support a lot of politicians in California. Hint, only Democrats, because those are the people that support their agenda. And the teachers' unions have really become a political association, political group here in California. So he's pandering to the political groups, as you'll notice, like the teachers' unions, because he knows he's going to need their support come summer special election. And so the recall effort is a really challenging thing. If you remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger won with a recall election back in, I think it was 2003 or whenever that was. Now, the difference, guys, there was so much support behind Arnold. and Arnold won the special election. What we need if we want to win here is we really need the same kind of thing. We need a candidate that has so much overwhelming support that people will not only say, let's recall Gavin, but then they'll vote for him. A lot of times what happens in these elections is we get a lot of split, right? So we get people that will say, okay, I want to get rid of Gavin, but then there's 3 Republicans, there's 8 Democrats, and there's like everyone else on the ballot like last time. And so all these votes get split up, and maybe Gavin wins again, which we don't want. So a lot can happen in this special election. Let's say hi to some people. So Anthony, thanks for being on. It's hard to believe we don't have 5 million signatures. I agree with you. You know, initially there wasn't a lot of support behind this. It was really kind of a grassroots thing. Then some groups started supporting it and spending a lot of money on it. And because people started spending a lot of money on it, now the recall got a lot more exciting. You know, people started to get stuff in the mail to sign. If you've gotten that, sign it, get some friends to sign it, send it back. So I think it's just a matter of there hasn't been enough money spent to get those signatures. I do think there's 5 million people who would like to see Gavin out. They just haven't gotten it or haven't gotten around to it or whatever. And Reva said, who actually likes him? Yeah, I agree. I don't think even Democrats like him. He's definitely pissed a lot of people off here. Maxim, hello. Thanks for being here. We got Michael Gussman here. And let's see what Anthony said. Even if they liked him, they don't like his policies that are destroying the state. Yes, I completely agree. What's left of it? I completely agree with that as well, unfortunately. So many people leaving. I've been talking a lot about that on my YouTube channel. By the way, guys, we have 38 people on. So as I said, last time I had 55 people on the stream, which is a record for me, which is amazing. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Hit that like button. Share this stream with other people if you want to see this. I think it's going to be more interesting than the real stream. Oh, we just got to 40, which is awesome. And also, guys, if you want to help support the channel, you can also throw in a super chat, which is really cool, and I appreciate you. I'll put your name on the screen and all that good stuff. So live stream will begin shortly. Let me show you what I'm seeing here, just so you guys can see this really quickly. This is what I'm seeing right here. So as soon as that live stream starts, we'll get you over there. I'm sure they're going to have a little parade. If you're just joining us on the stream, thank you so much for being here. We're talking about Gavin Newsom, and we are covering his press conference with real coverage, not the BS coverage that he gets where they all just kind of pander to him. Oh, here we go. Let's see. So we're about to start, and before we do, Derek, thanks for being here. Derek says it's time that Newsom decides, let them play. Yeah, Derek, this is a huge, huge issue, obviously. That sports are closed and all that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go to this stream. Let's see what they have to say.
Good morning. I'm Bill Covino. I'm the president of Cal State LA. Thank you all for being here today. And let me start by acknowledging our many distinguished guests, Governor Gavin Newsom, General Glenn Van Hert, Commander of the U.S. Northern Command and North American Aerospace Defense Command, Bob Fenton, Acting Phoenix County Supervisor Hilda Solis, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, Assembly Member Wendy Carrillo, Representative Jimmy Gomez, and LA City Council Member Kevin De Leon. It's particularly fitting that this state and federal vaccination center is opening here on the campus of Cal State LA.
Top of it, we'll keep a...
Not sure. Here we go.
Of Los Angeles.
There we go.
Starting today, it's actually happening right behind.
By the way, guys, that was like a parade of just unbelievably bad folks. Garcetti, De Leon, I mean, all these guys that are so bad for the state. It's just crazy. Love that they're all there.
This challenging time, standing with those at the center of the battle against COVID-19, directing our university's resources, our innovation, our energy for the public good, offering real solutions, reliable information, and hope to our communities at a time when they so desperately need it. Opening this site has been a massive undertaking involving great national, state, and local partners. Cal State LA is honored to join with all of the agencies that are represented here and we extend our special gratitude to the Biden administration and to Governor Newsom. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership and deep commitment to bringing this pandemic to an end. And everyone, welcome to Cal State LA.
Well, good morning, and let me start by thanking Governor Newsom for his partnership and leadership, Mayor Garcetti, Congressman Jimmy Gomez, and General Van Herk as the NORTHCOM commander, and all the rest of the local elected leaders that are here today with us.
So let's pause there, or let's mute them for just a second. If you notice, I think they give these guys these talking points, right? Like, hey, make sure you thank Newsom, make sure you thank Garcetti, and the rest of the parade of folks that have so badly mismanaged the state. And the other thing that they love to talk about on this is to thank the Biden administration for everything they've done since they've been there for a couple of months. You know, it's really, really interesting to me. All right, let's hear what this guy has to say. If not, we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll head back while we wait for the distinguished man of honor, Gavin himself. All right, let's see what else the FEMA guy has to say.
We're also providing federal equipment, supplies, and personnel to a number of sites throughout the country. Here today is the first time that we will actually be putting to work a community vaccine center that's primarily federally supported but state managed. We're doing this today in Oakland and here in Los Angeles. And let me just give a great thanks to CSU LA for partnering with us on this site. The criteria that we've looked at to establish these larger community vaccination centers has been looking at high population areas among the states, but also ensuring that data drives us to the most socially vulnerable, using the CDC Social Vulnerability Index, focusing on areas where minorities make up over 40% of the population, looking at other factors such as poverty, lack of housing, or vehicle.
Okay, let's mute this guy for a second. I gotta make a couple of announcements here real quick, guys. So first of all, Schaefer, it looks like you've read 1984. I like that. I don't even think Maxim's read that, so get him to read that. Thanks for being on here. I appreciate you. Let me throw my volume up a little bit. I think it was a little too low. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So that's awesome, man. I love that. And yes, 88, Mark 86. I love your comments, man. All the deep staters are on parade. They really are. And it's so interesting to me, this like pandering, nonstop pandering, right? It's here's what we're doing. And you know, it's all about the equity of all this and all this stuff. So it's so interesting to me. Good looking honky. Gavin Newsom should be homeless for making money off them. Yes, but he is far from that. He's making a lot of money from this stuff. And you guys, let me say thank you. First of all, to Riva for a $9.99 super chat. So let's get her on. And I have a special sound effect that I'm going to throw on for you. Here we go. Here's my sound effect.
Super chat.
Thanks, Riva. I really appreciate you. Sorry, we're getting some sun from over here. I really appreciate you for the super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. And we also have one from Maxim, $4.99 super chat. Here we go. Let's say thank you to Maxim.
Super chat.
Yes. So, yeah, good looking honky, man. I'm laughing about all this stuff. I mean, it's crazy to me, you know, that it's the nonstop pandering. It's the nonstop, hey, you know, this administration is so amazing when, you know, the last administration, by the way, are the ones that pushed that vaccine through pretty quickly. Sorry about this sun. It looks like I have a skylight like right there. We have one covered. We have another one right there, and it's right in the way. So sorry about that. Yeah, Reba, thank you so much again for the super chat, guys. The super chats. I told my kids that I'm going to put all the super chat money into a stock account for them, and that's going to go to them for college. So even if you don't want to support me, support the kids. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not going to pander the way that these guys do. All right, let's dive back in and kind of see what these guys have to say. By the way, we have 36 people on right now, so I want to thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate you. Let's go back to the press conference here and see what they're talking about.
families and friends have a role to support vaccinating. Get them registered. You can do that through the state site at myturn.california.gov, or you can phone the 833-422-4255 number for help if you can't use the site. And lastly, please continue to be safe. Wear masks, practice social distancing, and get vaccinated. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm General Glenn Van Herk. I'm the commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command and United States Northern Command, commonly referred to as NORTHCOM and NORAD. Thanks, everybody, for being here. To the governor, to the mayor, state, local leaders, thank you so much for allowing us to be here and being part of this opportunity that we have today. I'd like to say it's an honor, actually, to be part of the nation's first state-led, federally supported vaccination site. I can promise you that the efforts will save lives, American lives, that we're conducting today. My mission as the commander of NORAD and United States Northern Command is to defend North America with my NORAD hat on and defend the United States of America with my NORTHCOM hat on, and also being prepared to provide defense support of civil authorities. Those missions, in my mind, are incredibly noble. What we face today is a threat to the homeland. It may be a little bit of an asymmetric threat called COVID, but there's no more sacred or noble mission than taking care of one's family here in the homeland. And that's what we're actually doing here today, is taking care of folks right here, American lives and saving lives. Secretary of Defense Austin has been very, very clear. The department has capacity and capability to contribute to our homeland's effort to fight COVID. That's exactly what we're doing, and we'll continue providing more, as you heard Acting Administrator Fenton discuss in the coming days. I'd like to tell you that we're incredibly proud of the support that we've provided in just slightly over a year that started with the United States naval ship, hospital ship, Mercy, right here in this area. That support continued as we took lessons learned and we embedded ourselves in your hospitals right here in Los Angeles and in California. Actually, our effort in Riverside concludes today, where we've had several hundred spread across Los Angeles and also across California and across the rest of the nation. I can tell you that today it starts with COVID vaccination right here behind me. We're here for the long haul. We're incredibly proud of what we've done. We're incredibly proud of what we're doing and what we're going to continue to do in the future to get our nation beyond COVID. Thank you so much for your support. It's my honor to introduce Governor Newsom.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you, General. Let me thank each and every one of the distinguished speakers who are about to come up. I want to thank the Mayor in particular for his incredible stewardship and support of not only this effort, but efforts throughout this region. Hilda Solis, President of the LA County Board of Supervisors, an invaluable partner. But in particular, let me just thank General. Let me thank the Biden administration. The Biden administration gets it, and they're getting it done. This is one of two sites now here in the state of California operational. Beginning today, as Bob said, with roughly 3,000 vaccines here in Southern California, 3,000 vaccines in Northern California. By the end of the week, we will double that, 6,000 here, 6,000 in Northern California, Alameda County. This is a framework of focus, not just on efficiency, not just speed, but on the issue of equity. That's what brings us here today. Not just the spirit, not just the platitude of this being a North Star. This is what this site is all about. It's proximate to a community that has been disproportionately impacted by this pandemic. The effort here is to address that issue forthrightly. We have a responsibility. We have an obligation.
Oh, looks like we're having a little bit of a internet issue with Gavin. I don't know if that's mine or if that's his. Let's see here. I don't think it's mine.
Number of months.
Mine looks good. I think it was his. I think it's his.
In the next number of months, there is the proverbial light talk about that just briefly. It's a fact, and it's an important fact. 1 month ago today, on January 16th, this state reported 11.4% positivity rate. Today, it's down to 3.5% positivity. 1 month ago today, on January 16th, we reported 40,600 cases of COVID-19. Today, 5,600 cases. 40,600 down to 5,006. 2 weeks, 39% reduction in the number of people hospitalized, 32% reduction in the number of people in our ICUs. We have seen vaccination rate increase. There are only 7 jurisdictions in the world that have administered more doses of the vaccine than the state of California, some 6.3 million.
Hey guys, real quick, thank you so much, Michael Gussman, for the super chat. I appreciate you, my man. Let me throw the
more work to do. The issue at the end of
Super chat.
Vaccine, more Pfizer vaccine. We need to get the federal approval of the J&J vaccine. We need to provide an ample supply so we can plan not just 2 to 3 weeks out, but over the course of the next few months till we get to the proverbial space we're all looking forward to, not that long from now, and that's to herd immunity. The good news, parts of the state are already beginning to open back up. Business is already starting to take shape, modified nonetheless. We're working hard to get our kids back in school. It is a priority to get our kids safely back in school, particularly our kindergartners up to 6th grade. We can do that, and we are indeed grateful to the CDC and the guidelines they just put out and the work the Biden administration's helping to advance that cause. I want to just thank all of members of the military, the Air Force, and the Army, our own National Guard, 150 strong, led by General Baldwin, who's here with us, the Office of Emergency Services, led by Mark Ghilarducci, who's here with us, credible partnerships with HHS, our Secretary, Mark Galley, who's here with us as well, working in partnership, hand in hand with local government officials, working with the federal partners to build a logistics operation and an operation that goes where people are. And I think the most important thing you just heard from both the General and Bob Fenton is that this site will have satellite sites. We'll have a mobile unit that goes into the community, meets people where they are. Not everyone can sign up on My Turn. And by the way, if you want to sign up for a vaccination at this site, you can go to My Turn, fill out the application, get notified, and get a date and time scheduled. But for those that don't, you can use that 833-422-4255 number, 833-422-4255. We're going to do more and better to reach out to those that aren't even getting that information, don't even have access to a landline. And we're working with community-based organizations, 110 that we've now invested in the last few weeks. We'll be announcing more partnerships, CBOs in Ventura County, in LA County later this week. 150 CBOs strong, focusing on trusted messenger status to make sure that we are in language, culturally competent, bottom up in terms of our frame and our effort, again, focusing not just on speed, but delivering on the promise and promotion of equity. We put out a dashboard showing that we're not where we need to be, African-American community, in terms of the Latino community. We have a special obligation to do more, and that's exactly, again, what this site represents and what the site in Northern California represents. Let me just close, again, expression of gratitude and appreciation, but also I'll close with an expression of expect that the best is yet to come. Now with the dashboard of not only looking more transparency at our provider network, looking at performance, we now have a new third-party agreement that's actually going to pay for performance, that's going to incentivize better performance, that's going to create a contractual obligation so people are getting these doses out of their freezer and into people's arms. It starts here with Pfizer, 21 days, we'll get those vaccines in people's arms for the second doses, but we clearly have more work to do to hold our provider network, which, by the way, is roughly 3,500 strong, accountable to actually delivering and getting an efficient, equitably focused effort to get these administration of these vaccines quickly into people's arms. So more work to do in that space, but a lot of good work that's been done that will advance that cause. Final point, none of these vaccines come from the state allocation. None of the vaccines in Alameda County come from the state allocation. This is separate and above. This doesn't impact our pharmacy partnership. Those are separate and above. Or the community clinics where we're investing time and energy and the Biden administration's prioritized. Those are separate and above. We are looking for 1.28 million doses of the vaccine by the end of this week, 1.31 million doses of the vaccine by next week. We're administering, at least as of yesterday, averaging 201,000 doses a day. Do the math. Supply's the issue. That's the constraint. But we are, in closing, building a system like the one the mayor and the supervisors and Councilmember De Leon and Congressman Gomez and Assemblywoman Carrillo all have been promoting, building out a system whose only constraint is supply. So when the spigot of supply turns back on with J&J and more Moderna, more Pfizer, that we have no limitations in terms of how we've organized the logistics and the network operation, the data and the transparency. So that's what this represents, what Dodger Stadium represents. It's what all of those other large mass sites represent. But also, again, these mobile efforts, meeting people where they are, going into our diverse community. And that's the message we want to deliver today. And we're delivering it because of a new administration, the Biden administration, and their demonstrable leadership. And for that, we close as we began by thanking the president for his commitment and his resolve to get these vaccines in the arms of our most vulnerable members of our community. Thank you very much. And with that, let me introduce the president of the LA County Board of Supervisors, extraordinary partner, and someone that's working hand in glove with 88 cities in her county, and that's President Hilda Solis.
No questions for Gavin today? Come on.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chair representing the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and I have the distinction and honor to also represent this great campus here at Cal State Los Angeles. I'm so pleased and honored to be here today to join LA President Bill Covino, our very own Governor Gavin Newsom, Mr. Robert Fenton of FEMA, as well as our colleagues, our distinguished Mayor Eric Garcetti, Council Member Kevin De Leon, Assembly Member Wendy Carrillo, Congressmember.
So now they won't even take questions for Gavin. I think last time he had enough.
That will mark the end of this pandemic. I want to thank Governor Newsom and President Biden for their partnership and quick work to launch this vaccination site. It was almost a year ago when I joined Cal State LA in conjunction with Gavin Newsom to launch COVID-19 testing here on this campus in partnership with our state. We chose this site again today for the very same reason we're here now, because Cal State LA and the team that composes it are trusted partners and represent the fabric of the east side of Los Angeles. From the beginning of the pandemic, I have partnered with them on COVID-19 testing, various food distributions.
Guys, let's take a quick break from this because basically they're all just kind of giving thanks to each other, and I haven't really heard anything new. What they're doing here is they're opening up a vaccination site, Cal State LA. We will keep this on the screen. If you want to see more of this, let me know. We'll switch back and forth as kind of they talk, but I was hoping that we would get some questions for the Gav man today. Last time what happened was he got a couple softball questions and then one guy like really went after him, asked him a bunch of really tough questions. I don't know if they really like that. And so so they maybe this time turn the questions off and they're not going to do that. So really interesting here that they're not doing that. So yeah. Here we go. Guys, I wanted to just circle back and thank you all for the super chats. Those of you who have thrown those in, really appreciate that. And now we got some super stickers. So Train of Dinosaurs, thank you so much for the super sticker. Let's give you one of these little sound effects here.
Super chat.
Yeah, and Mark, exactly. I mean, that's all that's going on. They're just all thanking each other, and this whole band of characters that they're thanking. By the way, guys, if you don't know, the De Leon and Garcetti and all these guys are all the ones responsible for putting restaurants, small businesses out of business, and for keeping our schools closed. We do have a teacher on. Would love to hear more about your thoughts on this. I think Derek here. So Derek is on and said that he's been teaching since October. Would love to hear more about that. I'm assuming you're either in a county that's allowing that or you teach at a private school. Sorry about this crazy sun here, guys. We're going to have to do something about that. But I'd love to hear more about that if you want to put that in the chat here, because, like my kids are now at the crazy schedules where they got school for 2 hours one day and one day they're full. And then it's amazing. I mean, it's craziness what's going on. So we need to get the schools open. You notice Gavin didn't talk at all about that. They did talk about something interesting that I wanted to mention, guys, and thank you all for being on today again. They talked about the fact that there's way less cases now. Well, you know what they did is in California, they switched all of the testing centers to vaccine centers. When you do that, obviously there's going to be less testing. Isn't that interesting? So just, really interesting stuff going on in California. A lot of thanking of, everyone that basically done nothing good for the state, going around and around, talking about how much they all love each other. Let's pop back in. Let's just see what she has to say. I'm curious. Let's see what she has to say here.
I can't thank the administrations, both the Biden as well as Gavin Newsom's, for making this happen and for working with all of us. We're working hard.
We went away for 3 minutes. We went back. What are they doing? They're all thanking each other again. It's insane.
Car or because they are disabled. So Metro Services, Metrolink, and other transport partners will be helping us to bridge that gap. So again, in closing on an English note, before I transition to Spanish quickly, remember to wash your hands, to double mask where you can, to keep your distance. And even though you got your first vaccine, know that we are going to work very hard to get that second dose to you as well. Now in Spanish, brevemente, buenos días, soy Hilda Solís, presidenta de la Junta de Supervisores del Condado de Los Ángeles y también representante de este área.
All right, guys, I'm going to go away just because this is in Spanish. I don't understand Spanish. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go away from this. If you want to listen to the Spanish, I can throw it back on. I think she's just going to say the same thing, which is basically thank you to everyone. My favorite part of this speech just now was, guys, remember to wash your hands. So if you didn't know it yet, make sure you're washing your hands. And also double mask now, because single mask is not enough. So if you're not double masking, make sure you're doing that. Very proud American. Screw them and their double masking. I feel the same way about the single masking, but hey, to each his own. And listen, by the way, I've had a lot of questions. I am not against masks where appropriate, right? I mean, hey, you go in and you're in a crowded place and, everyone else and whatever, hey, no problem, right? But I see people in Southern California walking their dogs with no one on the streets and they're wearing masks. I mean, it's insanity. They've put so much fear into people that everyone's so freaked out that they're either staying in their homes, they won't go do anything, or they're now, doing all this crazy stuff. So it's just wild. Maxim, thanks for being on. And thanks for the super chat earlier, and thanks for the comment here. So I'd love to go back to this press conference. I wish that we could get some questions for Gavin Newsom. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to stick around. By the way, guys, at one point on this stream, I believe we had over 60 people watching, which is a new world record for me. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on here and for supporting the channel with your comments and your likes and your super chats. By the way, in terms of my YouTube channel, I have gotten some questions. Talk about real estate, business, finance. I'm a real estate broker, former attorney, so we talk about all kinds of things related to that. My goal really is to simplify those things for you, and also to help you create a business if you want to do that. That's predictable and profitable if you're in real estate or anything else, or in finance. We want to simplify a lot of the topics that we talk about. All right, so I think we might be transitioning to someone else. Let's go back over here and let's see who's talking next. Oh, my good friend
I was just here
Eric
as the designated
Garcetti.
sprayer, but I guess I got a chance to
This
speak
guy
too.
is
Good
the
afternoon
worst.
or good morning, everybody, and I will try to be quite brief because I know we have a big lineup. But let me just start with the thanks that we need to have,
Yes,
starting at
let's
the
thank
very
everyone
top.
again.
With this administration, and while Joe Biden may not be here physically, he certainly is here.
I love it.
He and Vice President Harris have shown their commitment. And through Bob Fenton, a great friend of the Western United States, a Californian, and somebody who is now bringing that leadership to the nation, I want to thank him and his team, he's back there very smartly, for the great work that they are doing. We've seen that time and again on homelessness. We've seen that in this pandemic on feeding our seniors. Now we're seeing it on getting vaccines out there. And I couldn't ask for a better dream team. And I'm not just saying that because that's what politicians do. This team here gets this issue. We understand it because it's in our bones, it's in our families, it's in our work. My family, both the Mexican and Jewish sides, grew up here in Boyle Heights. This was the gateway to America for them. This was their community. This was a place where they found their dream. And yet too many people are living a nightmare, not just of this year, of the loss, of the death, of the suffering, of the hospitalizations, of the economic devastation as well. But they're living that fear right now, will I ever get my turn? And today what the state of California, through our great governor, Gavin Newsom, through our legislator, Wendy Carrillo, who is here, through the federal government also, and I'm going to get to Jimmy Gomez in a second, are saying that we will put our feet on the ground in a community that has seen this burn like a fire. We have families we've talked to where you call the husband to say, I'm sorry about your son, please pass on your condolences to your wife, and he says, she's just died too. Families where 2, 3, even one where 6 members of a family died. We might say things are getting better, and I agree with the governor. It is so much better today than it was just a month ago. But even this level today in Los Angeles is triple, quadruple what it was at our lowest point in this pandemic. And I want to thank our by Hilda Solis, because you can't find a border between the city and the county when it's coming to testing, vaccines, and the work that we're doing on equity. So my message is 2 things today. 1, equity. We need to get this vaccine to those people who are dying, and we need to get it to them quickly. That's why these mobile teams, and we are proud to work with our federal counterparts and state counterparts to look at Dodger Stadium, to look at our walk-up sites, to look at our mobile teams that the county and the city has, because you see those statistics, and you're right, Governor, and you're right, Supervisor, the statistics we cannot be satisfied with. When 3.5% of vaccines are going to Black Angelenos, that's not an acceptable number. But when you look at the mobile clinics that we have in South Los Angeles, where 90% are going to people of color, Black and brown communities that are hardest hit, we know we can get this done. Second is capacity. We right now are at a place where we don't have enough vaccine, and you've heard me speak very passionately about this, enough vaccine for the demand. In about a month or 2, that will flip, and we will have more vaccine than capacity if places don't build. And what the federal government has said, what President Biden has said, what his COVID team has said, we will be ready. What the county has said, building sites throughout this county, is we will be ready. And I want you to know that the city of Los Angeles, through our fire department and our partners with CORE, will be ready. We right now could do 150,000 doses a day. I told you last week, give us the supply, we'll be done by July. And we still mean that.
Ooh.
But my third point is, with equity and with supply, is we all have to make sure that we bring people here. And I know Supervisor Solis and I are focused on that ride to the vaccines. For folks that are out there, give a neighbor who doesn't have transportation a ride here. There's no better thing you could do. Metro, Los Angeles Department of Transportation, working with private sector partners and access.
I can only take this guy for so long. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the sun here, guys. I got the skylight right there that all of a sudden got sun right on it. This never happens. I have a skylight above me that's covered, but that one is terrible. So the guy that's speaking now, if you don't know, is Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles, who is right up there just as bad as Newsom. The guy does nothing about all the issues and just panders to the voters. Hopefully, after we recall Garcetti, we can lay into LA and get Newsom. You hear all of the basically constant talk of equity, pandering to the voters, the fear tactics. You got to wear double masks and all this other nonsense. And by the way, it looks like their stream froze. Hopefully that's not my stream. So we'll check back in and kind of see what these guys are talking about. I really wish we could get some questions for Newsom, but did you guys see how fast he ducked out of there? Their stream is frozen, so let's just go to me. So did you guys see how fast he ducked out of there after he spoke? No questions, no nothing, straight to the next guy, and let's thank everyone again. Okay, looks like Garcetti's wrapping up, so let's go back and see who's next on this this train.
Good morning. Welcome to Cal State LA, home of the Golden Eagles. There is an old expression that every non-Spanish speakers as well. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. Today I am proud to stand with President Biden, Governor Newsom, FEMA, Cal OES, the leaders, educators, and health professionals who represent California State University, Los Angeles, and the proud members of this community of essential workers, elders, and diverse families that jointly run and will be beneficiaries of this endeavor that we have here of a COVID-19 vaccination site. My family, like so many of the families that I represent in Assembly District 51, has been impacted by COVID-19. My family and I are immigrants to this country, to Los Angeles. We made our home in the heart of Boyle Heights and City Terrace. I am a formerly undocumented child who grew up just around the corner of Cal State LA and was the first in my family to graduate from this institution. My two younger sisters have graduated from Cal State LA. Cal State LA is home. We are first-generation Americans. Both of my parents are essential workers. I worry about their safety every day, just like I worry about the safety of our grocery store workers, our janitors, our home care providers, our child care providers, bus drivers and delivery drivers, restaurant workers, monolingual Spanish speakers, hard-working immigrant, working class, essential and frontline workers who take public transit and risk their lives every day so that the rest of us, the rest of the Angelinos of this county and this city can stay home, can quarantine, and be safe. Not everyone has that luxury. We can and should do more to address the inequities that exist that many of us already knew and have personally lived. Everyone's life has been impacted by this virus. Too many lives have been lost. There isn't a single person in this community and in this space right now who isn't counting on us to get it right, to inoculate our neighbors, protect our most vulnerable residents, and combat the misinformation putting our loved ones at risk. The importance of this vaccine and this vaccination site cannot be overstated. Equity is critical. It is not merely rhetorical. It is not trivial. It is not optional. President Biden and Governor Newsom have both committed to ensuring that communities of color, Latinos, and low-income communities have access to the COVID-19 vaccine. During his time as coach of the Lakers, Phil Jackson used to say, "If the strength of each team is its individual members, then the strength of each member is their team." There are over 1.17 million documented COVID-19 positive cases and over 19,000 COVID-19 related deaths in Los Angeles County, making us ground zero in California. We can't beat COVID-19 in California unless we vaccinate Los Angeles County. We can't vaccinate Los Angeles County without a strong team made up of the folks that you see here today. We cannot do this without the leadership or support of healthcare providers, senior centers, schools, churches, and community-based organizations, and people just like you. Everyone who is skeptical or afraid needs to know that the vaccine is safe and effective. Everyone who is confused and unsure if they can get the vaccine without insurance, without internet access, a smartphone, a car, documentation, legal status, or the ability to read and write in English needs to know that vaccination centers like Cal State LA are safe and they are accessible. I ask for your partnership in ensuring that we are successful in inoculating our neighbors, protecting our community's most vulnerable residents, and combating the misinformation that has put our loved ones at risk. Thank you for your willingness to help keep our loved ones and our neighborhoods safe, but we have a lot of work to do. Unas poquitas palabras en español. Existe un dicho familiar.
Okay, so let's go away from that because she's going to translate for herself. You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't personally understand Spanish. Well, I understand a little bit. I took Spanish in high school, actually. I should understand more, but she's just going to say the same thing over and again. So if you do understand Spanish, you heard it in English as well. So a couple things I wanted to mention. We did have a question here. And guys, this is, by the way, a serious topic that I want to talk about for just a second, which is this whole equity thing. Okay, let me go back to my mode here. So the reason I'm making fun of these guys for constantly saying the word equity is not because I don't believe that things should be equitable. I do. The problem is the way these guys use that term is to pander to voters. So instead of saying, for example, that, hey, we got to make sure that everyone who wants the vaccine should get it. That's a good statement, right? And if I was leading the state, that's what I would say. I would say, hey, everyone who wants to get the vaccine, and I'm not here to tell you whether you should or you shouldn't, that's a decision you can make for yourself. But everyone who wants to get the vaccine should have access and should be able to get it. That's a great statement, right? Why do you have to say, we're doing everything with equity and everything we do has to have equity and it's equity first and the vaccine is equity and we cure forest fires with equity and you know everything is equity? It doesn't make sense the way they use the term, and they're not using it to quote a famous line from The Princess Bride. That term does not mean what they think it means, if you guys have seen that movie. And so that's my problem with it. So the reason I'm making fun of them for continuing to say that over and over again is because of that. And so I just wanted you guys to know, I just wanted to clear that up. And very proud American, I love this comment. We were playing a game. Every time they say equity, we take a shot. And it's 11:45 here in LA for me. And so if I was playing that game, I agree with you. I'd probably be out for the count already because I think they're at 8 or so. And I will go back to the press conference as soon as someone new comes up and starts thanking everyone else that came before them, because that's what they've all been doing. Eric Garcetti spoke. He's been a terrible mayor in LA. You know what I heard, and I did an interview with a guy, Craig, that has a nonprofit organization called Rise Together that wants to change things in LA. And what I heard from him as far as statistics was unbelievable. Only 200,000 people voted for Eric Garcetti or so, right? Because in the mayor election, not that many people voted. And so they're moving the election. It's going to be in November in 2022. And I'm very, very hopeful that, that more people will vote so that we can get him out. We can get someone in that actually wants to solve the problems of the city. Because Garcetti just wants to pander, just wants to tell everyone what they want to hear, doesn't actually want to solve any issues. The homeless situation in LA and in all of California really is beyond ridiculous. Every underpass, everywhere you go, and it's a real crisis here. And, a lot of people need help. And a lot of people, aren't being helped by the programs that they have there. So it's pretty bad. Someone asked about leaving. Let's see. Someone said, let me go back to the comments here. Someone said Gina Carano for governor. I love that. If you guys aren't familiar, Gina Carano got canceled, tried to get canceled by Disney, but then she went over to Daily Wire and she's going to do a movie with them, which I think is fantastic. Really, really cool. And we did hear Garcetti go Johnny Cochran on us with, if you give us the supply, we'll be done by July. That was cool. I kind of wrote that one down. I like that. Yes, very proud American. You got it, man. We'll take a little break before we get to the next person that's gonna give us their speech in English, Spanish, sign language, and maybe a couple other languages. I'm Russian, and I have to tell you, I'm very offended that they are not translating the speech into Russian. Very offensive to me. I think they should. Okay. Yeah, Al, this is a good comment, right? Like inoculating your neighbors, can that get any more creepy? And yes, they are going to, look, I'm not here to kind of tell you, get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. Totally personal preference. If you believe in it, get it. If you don't believe in it, don't. I don't think there should be any requirements. I don't think there should be any mandates for anything, really. I know that in Texas, I heard Governor Abbott say that there would never be a requirement to have your kids vaccinated in order to go to school. I got to tell you, I think in places like California and very left-leaning states, that is going to happen. So got to watch out for that. I love how they spray the microphone. Ah, man, I missed it. Let's go back to the screen share. Let's see what else. Let's see who's next.
I'm Congressman Jimmy Gomez. I represent the 34th Congressional District, and I'm also on the House Ways and Means Committee and the Vice Chair of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. But as somebody who flies to D.C. almost every other week on a plane, I'm pretty good. I have a huge protection against COVID now, being as a person that's been traveling every single day. But I want to say that this is a big deal to open up this site on the east side of Los Angeles in a community that has been disproportionately impacted by COVID when it comes to infection rates, when it comes to death rates, when it comes to just access to health care. This is a big deal. And as somebody who's been fighting this issue since the beginning of the pandemic, I can tell you for certain that it's a huge difference when you have a president in the White House that cares about equity, a president who put a team to focus on equity when it comes to the distribution of vaccines. That is a big deal. So we have a great leader who's going to help us make sure that we can tackle this pandemic. But this pandemic must be tackled by not just the federal government, but by the state leadership. We have Gavin Newsom, who's doing a great job. We have Eric Garcetti, Hilda Solis, Kevin DeLeon, Wendy Carrillo, because it is a team effort. I also want to thank the acting FEMA director for making sure that this was one of the sites. And I want to thank the National Guard who is here. As somebody who was in the gallery on January 6th, I can tell you that the National Guard is an institution that not only do our communities rely on in situations like this, but our democracy relies on when it's on the tip of a precipice of going over. So I just want to say to all the National Guardsmen and all the troops here, thank you so much. But this pandemic is not over. This is not even the beginning of the end, right? So we still have a lot of work to do. We are putting together a $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, with $1,400 going to people who are struggling to make ends meet, $14 billion for vaccine purchases, $46 billion for testing, tracing, and mitigation, and $25 billion to address health disparities. So this is just the beginning of this battle, because with only about 5-6 million people in California with their first shots, we still have a long ways to go. But I know that I agree with the mayor that this is personal. This is personal for a lot of us because we've seen the devastation in our communities.
Okay, so since a lot of you are saying this is unwatchable and a lot of people jumped off the stream when I put this dude on, let's mute him for just a second and let's just talk about what he's talking about. So, vaccine. Again, guys, I just want to say, I'm not here to tell you take it, don't take it. Total personal decision. You know, for me, I haven't actually done enough research to decide, to be honest. I've never taken a flu vaccine. I've always been fine. So that's my personal thing. I mean, I don't know. As far as what Very Proud American just said, I want to put this up on the screen. So this is a very interesting point, right? So I'm all about like common sense, you know, common sense. And let's get this guy off the screen. So common sense and doing my own research. And by the way, guys, I highly recommend you always just do your own research, you know. Don't rely on the news. Heck, don't even rely on me. Do your own research. Read about it. And so what's interesting to me is that these guys can come on here and say, well, take the vaccine. But after you take the vaccine, double mask and stay away from people and do social distancing. So we have a virus that's a 99.98% survival rate in like most of the age groups around me. I'm 44. Obviously, look, if you're 70 or whatever, it's a different story. But, you know, that age group, okay? Then you have a vaccine, I think that's 94, 95%, 97% effective. Oh, we have someone new coming on, so let's just check that out, see what I say. But then you have a vaccine that's 97% effective or whatever it is, and then they say if you take it, I still want you to put on 7 masks and social distance. to me, that seems to like not make a lot of sense, right? So, hey, doesn't make sense to me. But okay, let's see what this guy has to say. I don't know who.
To Bob Fenton, the acting director for FEMA, representing our President Joe Biden. I want to recognize Mark Galey, our Secretary of Health and Human Services, as well as Congressman Mayor Eric Garcetti, Hilda Solis, our Supervisor, Assemblywoman Wendy Carrillo as well, and a very, very special thank you to our governor, no other than Gavin Newsom, because it is this partnership between the state of California and the federal government with Joe Biden that makes this come to reality. This is a very unique mega center. It's one of the largest in the state, if not in the entire country. I want to underscore a couple points that Governor Gavin Newsom just articulated a few moments ago. The supply for the vaccines is separate from that of the state of California. So they're not cannibalizing on the same supply. So that's very, very important to understand. 2 points I want to make. It is about equity, and we need to make sure that those communities, as Jimmy Gomez just mentioned a few moments ago, that are disproportionately impacted by the coronavirus, either infection or mortality, get access now, not tomorrow or the next day or the next year, to the vaccine. And that's why with this operation with Governor Gavin Newsom, the mobile sites that will be mobilized this Thursday, just in a couple days, in communities such as Boyle Heights, in the communities such as East LA and South LA and elsewhere, are going to be a godsend. Everyone here today has been touched by the coronavirus. Either we know someone, a family member, a loved one, a neighbor who has been infected, or we know someone who has died. And that's why these mobile sites will be absolutely critical for our neighbors. So I want to thank, very special thank you on behalf of all of the constituents from CD14, the very district that we're in today. Thank you, Governor Gavin Newsom, for your stellar leadership on this issue. It's not been easy. Who would have ever thought that we would have had a global pandemic hit California? And if LA is ground zero, or if I should say, if LA is the epicenter for COVID-19, then CD14, the district that we're in today, is ground zero for infection and mortality rates. So thank you very much, Governor Gavin Newsom. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
I wonder if he's going to take questions. Do you guys think Gavin's going to come back and take questions?
All right, at this time we'll take questions.
Oh, yes. All right, here we go. All right, here we go, guys.
Hi there. I'm Laura Nelson from the LA Times, and this question is about vaccine supply.
Yes.
I'm hoping one or more of you can address what some of the specific barriers are to increasing vaccine supply across the country. If it's staffing, supply, factory facilities, whatever those reasons may be. And secondly, is the state of California now getting the 3-week look ahead for doses that was promised by the Biden administration?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I referenced a moment ago the next 2 weeks. Let me be more specific. We're given visibility 3 weeks in advance. Every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. West Coast time, we are on a conference call with governors across this country, including this morning. We, in the last 2 weeks, have received 1.08 million vaccines. This week, we'll receive 1.28 million vaccines. Next week, 1.31 million doses of vaccines. So from a little over a million to 1.3 million is the visibility to move forward. Here's the constraint: manufactured supply. There's simply not enough doses being manufactured from Moderna and Pfizer. J&J, we hope to get the emergency youth authorization at the end of this month. That's a single dose regimen. So you know it's 21 days for the vaccine that's being administered here. Pfizer, 28 for Moderna. J&J is a game changer, but those supplies won't come at scale until roughly June, July. And so over the course of the next number of weeks, supply is limited. We're doing over 200,000 doses a day, 1.4 million last week. We received less than 1.1 million. You could start doing the math. And that's why inevitably people ask, well, you have all these large sites, now you have to throttle back. While that's true, again, the only limitation being supply, as the mayor said a moment ago, and this is really an important point that he emphasized, we're building the infrastructure where the only constraint is supply, but when the supply is ample, then we're able to move aggressively and quickly. And that's why it's so important, their leadership here in LA, his leadership, Dodger Stadium and elsewhere, that we're building out that logistical operation, even if it's not operational at 100% just yet.
All right, looks like his stream is down again, having some issues there, or maybe it's mine. I don't know.
Most or even all of the state might be out of the purple tier by the 1st of spring.
Look, it's one thing I've learned is be careful how you. Well, it's hard to predict the future, particularly with this virus, but notably with consideration of the mutations, with considerations in mind of the variants. Just a brief update on the variants. We have 189 UK variants that we've sequenced here in the state of California, 2 South African variants in Alameda, Santa Clara County, no Brazilian variants, but over 1,834 West Coast variants, something not a lot of folks have paid much attention to. Those mutations, those variants are a caveat to my answering your question with affirmation, meaning the answer is yes, based on trend lines, 3.5% 7-day positivity rate. Remember, we were 11.4% a month ago, 3.5% 7-day. We have one county, Plumas, pursuant to your question, that's moving out of purple into the red tier today.
Give me a tough question.
I anticipate substantial number next week and even more in the subsequent weeks. And so if the trend lines continue, then I think indeed that is the case. We'll see counties move not just from purple to red, but more and more red to orange. And I anticipate, based on the number that are already in orange, you'll see many more in that yellow tier as well, which is the most permissive of the tiers we put out 24 weeks ago in our blueprint for a safer reopening.
Governor Newsom, Chris Ancarlo with KFI News. A couple of questions about education. Number one, I know at the end of last week there was some talk about a possible deal with the legislature. Just looking for the latest on that. And number two, it seems as though there's more synchronicity with the federal government right now. The CDC with its new guidelines at the end of last week. Austin Buettner coming out yesterday and saying that there's a lack of cohesion between the federal guidelines and the state guidelines. Just wondering if there's consideration to bring those more into alignment.
Well, they're remarkably aligned. And so respecting those comments, we were very proud that California's guidelines were as consistent as they were with the CDC guidelines. We're working with the legislature to close those gaps and address some of the nuances. But I'm very proud of that work that we've done hand in glove with the Biden administration, CDC, to understand where they're going and try to direct a framework that we put out in December and provided to the legislature to safely reopen our schools. I want to get our schools reopened. Let me repeat that. We need to get our schools safely reopened for kindergarten to 6th grade. We can do that safely. We put out a framework, we put out a plan, we put up $6.6 billion for the legislature to consider for an early action. We are making progress, and it is stubborn, the negotiation, and we continue to negotiate. Tomorrow, the fruits of other negotiations will be made public as it relates to other early action, particularly supporting small business grants and other supports around what we referred to a few weeks ago as the Golden State Stimulus to get cash in the hands of millions of Californians. We're making progress in terms of advancing that collaborative spirit. On schools, we still have more work to do, but we are committed to resolve that shortly, get our youngest kids, our youngest cohorts safely back in school, particularly our special needs kids, kids that are homeless, foster kids. This, if you care about equity, this is the issue that should define our frame of emphasis, focus, and energy.
Thanks, Governor. Josh Haskell, ABC7 Eyewitness News. You've talked a lot about supply being the issue, but there's been reports of widespread data issues in California, software problems that have caused issues keeping track of how many doses are available at one time when you're not getting the supply you need, and then you have these issues, what's being done to fix that problem? And when can counties expect to receive information on when and how Blue Shield will get involved with vaccine distribution?
They can go to covid19.ca.gov. Go to covid19.ca.gov. You can read the contract. You can see the terms of the contract. Every contract related to COVID since the beginning of this pandemic is on that site, including the third-party agreement, as you referred to it as the Blue Shield agreement. That went into effect yesterday. It will be implemented over the course of the next number of weeks. It's all around transparency. It's all about data mining. It's all about analytics. It's about performance payments, measurements. It's about working hand in gloves, not just with the counties, but working with our provider network. We identified about 1,100 providers that are the most essential in terms of advancing our efforts. I a moment ago referenced over 3,500 that are in the system, 1,100 plus that are the most active. We'll be streamlining that, and all of that information, again, is available on the covid19.ca.gov website.
Hi, Mayor. I'm with the CBS station here locally. Wondering what you would like to say to counties who say they want to opt out of the contract with Blue Shield because they feel like they have made huge investments to ramp up vaccination, and they want to see what the mayor just said right now, which is give us the vaccines locally and we'll be done by July. Why add this extra layer, and why add another bill to the taxpayers?
Well, we need to do better and do more for more efficient distribution, speed, and equity and transparency with vaccines. You have a lot of counties doing extraordinary work. You have a lot of counties that are models for not only the state but this nation. You have a lot of counties that are falling short. So the answer to your question is, we are many parts but one body. 58 counties, 470 plus cities. Cities have issues with counties, counties with states across this country with supply constraints, federal issues, and the like. And so we're trying to streamline that. We're trying to organize that. We created a new platform, more familiar to you here in LA, called My Turn. Been piloted here in LA first. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the supervisor. Also, I want to thank San Diego for their work, early pilot. Now we're launching My Turn statewide, and we've got the overwhelming majority of counties that have come in on the third-party agreement and with this new application, and we think that's very encouraging.
I know there's organized questions. If there's any questions for Administrator Fenton or General Van Herk, are there any? Because they need to go to a meeting. Just want to check.
Not one. Well, we got some tough questions. He wouldn't answer them. So we got a couple questions on Blue Shield. Wouldn't answer that one. Let's see if there's any more real questions here coming up.
I'm assuming you're saying yes. But if there's not, okay. I think you guys agree.
Right. Okay. So let's see if he gets any other real questions here. That he actually.
Thank you, Governor. Max Sherwood with Spectrum News. Nation site is opening as at least 5 others in LA have had to close because of vaccine shortages. Who decides what vaccines go where, and how will you prioritize the vaccine supply to the other sites like Dodger Stadium that are only scheduling second doses because they don't have enough to go around?
Yeah, as I noted a moment ago, we are administering statewide about 201,000 doses on an average basis. We did 1.4 million last week. We received less than 1.1 million doses last week. So our constraint is supply. In a constrained environment, those allocations, to your question, will be determined based upon the contract provisions that we put up on that COVID-19 site with the third-party administrator, working hand in hand in partnership with counties like LA.
Okay, final question.
Governor, you gave a fairly upbeat assessment today of the program, talking about a light at the end of the tunnel and that the best is yet to come. Yet, if you talk with a neighbor or look at any poll, there's a lot of dissatisfaction out there, a lot of anxiety, some of it, as you know, directed at you. I'm just wondering, is there a disconnect between what you're seeing and what the public is seeing? And if so, could you explain that?
No, look, it's been a difficult and challenging year for all of us. Been humbling for each and every person watching, parents, for folks.
Oh, I don't know what happened to their stream.
Went through with this latest surge just a few weeks ago here in Southern California in particular, only reinforced that. So it's absolutely understandable why people may feel that way. The reason I highlighted the progress is I want people to know of this progress. 11.4% down to 3.5%, 40,000 cases down to 5,600 cases. ICUs, hospitalizations, decompressing, less than a third of where they were at peak just a few weeks ago. Let me underscore this. Death, 1 month ago today, we reported 669 deaths. Today, 64. And I know none of us live in data or trends or in the aggregate. We all live with different experiences that are unique and distinctive to our own realities. But the fact is, at scale, we are moving in the right direction, including in terms of the administration and doses of vaccine, in terms of getting people back to work, and including getting our kids back to school. So those are objective, empirical truths. And I hope over the course of the next number of weeks, people will absorb this different reality with more optimism, but also mindful and sober of these mutations, these variants, mindful and sober of our work to do on equity, mindful and sober on the constraints of vaccination supply, mindful and sober of the imperative to maintain our vigilance as it relates to non-pharmaceutical interventions and wearing face coverings and making sure we continue to socially and physically distance. Let me thank you all again very, very much, and just thank the General, thank Team U.S. Military, thank the Biden administration, FEMA, our own Office of Emergency Services, thank local leadership, thank each and every volunteer that's behind the scenes helping support this operation at Cal State LA. I want to thank the President for opening up this site, and I want to thank the Chancellor for allowing this system to be one of our principal sites advancing the cause of equity. And I want to remind people, this is a site that is replicated in Northern California, and I have great expectation you're going to be seeing more and more of these all throughout the state in the coming weeks and months. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so Gavin is, and then they're done completely. So let's go back to this. All right, guys, so we got it. So basically, Gavin came up, answered a couple softball questions, which he got a couple questions that were actually decent questions. Why aren't schools reopening? You know, people are directing their anger towards you and all this kind of stuff. He didn't answer those, as you noticed. We have some really good comments here. 88 Mark 6, what a waste of time, answered nothing. Yeah, I completely agree. He will not answer anything. And then Matthew said he lulls people into confusion. That is also true, because he just keeps talking about the same thing over and over again. You notice they have, and look, this is clear. They have their talking points. I'm sure that their press people give them and brief them on exactly what they want them to say. And those are the things they all say. Hey, we're going to thank everyone for being here. We're going to thank the amazing Biden administration. And we're going to talk about equity. And that's it. They don't answer any real questions. They don't talk about that. David De Corsi, great question here. Did anyone ask him what the point of lockdowns are when Florida has virtually identical numbers to California? No one asked him that this time. He wouldn't answer it anyway. Last time they did, the last press conference, there was one reporter who was amazing. This guy was a total badass. And he kept asking him these tough questions, and Gavin wouldn't answer him. I mean, he just kept dodging and weaving, and then they finally cut the guy off. So he's not going to answer those questions because, quite frankly, it doesn't help him politically. I mean, since day one, you guys, since day one, I have been saying that this is all political for guys like Gavin Newsom. They're using this lockdown to advance their political agenda, and it's 100% true. Everyone knows that at this point. The schools won't reopen because the teachers' unions who are in Gavin's pocket don't want the schools to reopen. If you've seen the teachers' union's list of demands, they are ridiculous. It's like no charter schools. We want Medicare for all. We want all these other things that have nothing to do with the health and safety of the kids. The CDC's come out and said reopen schools. Schools have been open in other states, in other countries, no issues. Well, and even if they have issues, they deal with them, right? But in California, they can't reopen them because the teachers' unions won't let them do it. And Gavin wants the support of the teachers' unions because he knows he's facing a recall election. So anyone that thinks that there's anything else going on other than that really is not paying attention to what's happening here. So, as far as the vaccine stuff, guys, I know the point of their press conference, or at least the stated point, was to open this vaccine center, which is great for people that want to get the vaccine. It's totally up to you. Obviously, do your own research, figure out whether that's something you want to do. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. What I am here to do, though, by the way, guys, is really chat about the real issues and give you the real stuff that's happening, because a lot of this we're not hearing from news sources, because journalism, objective journalism, is really kind of dead here. Al, great comment here. Most teachers want to get back to work. I do believe that. I do believe it's not the teachers, it's the teachers' unions. I do understand that there's a way for the teachers to get out of the unions and do what they want to do. I don't know how possible that is here, but that's what's going on. The unions are really become political groups, and they want to back and support their political agenda, and that's really what's happening here in California. It has become 100% political. You look at states like Florida, you look at states like Texas. You guys have said it right here on the comments. And by the way, let me take a 10-second break to tell you thank you for being on this stream. We've definitely got way more people this time than ever before. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being on and for giving me the thumbs up and for your comments and for your super chats earlier. I really appreciate that as well to support the channel. And so it has become 100% political. You look at other states like Florida, Texas, they're open, and their cases and their charts look very similar to California. And so you start to think like, okay, well, that's kind of weird, right? Why do these charts look the same, but we've been locked down for a year? We've put small businesses out of business. We've put restaurants out of business. There are so many people, I've interviewed them on my channel. There are so many people that have lost their businesses, that have lost their life savings. There are people that are going through such frustrations in terms of kids that can't go back to school. I mean, hey, I'm one of them. We got 3 kids that are all on different schedules now. One's going 2 days a week. One's going 2 hours. One's going 1 hour. It's unbelievably terrible for the kids. We had some comments here about, kids that are depressed, that unfortunately, there have been suicides. And none of these politicians really care. I mean, you see it in these conferences. They won't answer the tough questions. They won't talk about the real issues. Now, luckily, guys, there is a recall effort going on. I talked about that at the beginning of this. 88 Mark 86. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. I will keep these going because, I really care about the state, care about the people here, and I care about the real issues, and we want to solve them. And so there's, some things we can be doing. Number one, I think first step for sure is to sign that recall petition. I've put it up on the screen. Let me do that one more time. The website is recallgavin2020.com, and you can jump on there, sign the petition, and get him out of here. Because once we do that, then maybe we can get someone in that actually wants to solve the real issues. So thanks for that. Let's see. Al said there's an Epoch Times article about that today. Okay, cool. So that's a great website. I love that one. So definitely check that out. And then someone asked a question here. Any way we can withhold or appeal the portion of our property taxes that go to school funding? David, unfortunately not. I'm in real estate. Can't do that. I wish we could, because our property taxes do go, a lot of them. What about new construction? You know that when you build a home in LA or anywhere else here, you have to pay for school permits and school funding and all these things. And the public schools in California are terrible. They're awful. Kids coming out of public school in California aren't ready for a career. They're not ready for jobs. They're not really ready for anything else. It's really a terrible situation in California. And it's not for lack of money, guys. They have so much money in California. They have so many resources, but they're burning the money. They're spending it in the wrong places, and they are not actually solving the issues that they need to solve. It's really a terrible thing. And so, like we've said on this call, these guys, all these guys that were being thanked here, De Leon and Garcetti and Newsom, and all of these guys are all just politicians that don't really care about solving these problems. Boat Lover That is the $1 million question that I do not get. I will tell you, I think that the mainstream media, I think that social media is playing a huge part in continuing this cycle because, you know, a lot of people, unfortunately, are not really thinking for themselves, and they're listening, they're watching TV, they're listening to ads, they're listening to all this stuff, and obviously, you know, everyone on these networks demonized Trump, even though his policies were so helpful to so many people. And, you know, then Biden comes in and it's, oh, you know, everything's great, of course, and unity and equity and all these other things. By the way, our final count on equity, guys, if you were paying attention, I think was 12, right? I'm going to go back to the comments. I know I put 13. A final count on equity was 13. So 13 times they said equity in all the wrong ways. Like I said, Princess Bride, that word does not mean what they think it means. So, you know, it's really an unfortunate thing for sure. Al, thanks for watching. I hear you say these videos are helping. That's great. Yes, please, if you like the video, like, share, comment, you know, super chat if you're so inclined, of course, and all of that good stuff. Very proud American. We, the people, are starting to take back our government. We've allowed them to get way too powerful. I'm wondering if anyone would be interested in a class action suit. So class action suit, you know, a lot of people, a lot of entities are suing Newsom. I know that Kevin Kiley is an assemblyman who is doing a lot to push back on Newsom. He's got a lawsuit going that he won and all of that good stuff. So he's a guy that, you know, I really support. There's a lot of good candidates, I think. You know, I mentioned Major Williams here. I'm trying to get him on the show, to get him on my channel, interview him live. He's a candidate I really like. There's a couple other guys that are doing a lot of really good things. Marcia, thanks for jumping on. You're right on. Public schools are not bringing out qualified kids to go to college. That is very true. It's very unfortunate in California. Public schools are not preparing kids to get a job. They're not preparing them to go to colleges. It's really a sad state of affairs because again, the teachers' unions don't really care about any of this stuff. So it doesn't, you know, none of it really makes sense. I was talking to a buddy of mine who lives in Texas, and, you know, in Texas, what the stuff they do actually makes sense. It makes common sense. And in California, we can't get any common sense policies through. But again, guys, I want to just kind of leave you with this. In terms of the recall, make sure you sign that recall petition if you haven't already. I think that's the first step in making some changes in California and really letting people know that we need to change it. It's a one-party state right now, meaning it's all Democrat controlled. And so they don't have any pushback, so they just do whatever they want. A lot of the taxes they're proposing, a lot of the regulations, a lot of this stuff, what's causing all the businesses and all the people to leave the state can't continue because that's not sustainable. What happens is the tax base shrinks, and then they have to raise taxes. They have to introduce new taxes. Ultimately, that's, you know, that can't be sustained. And so, like they say, you know, last person that leaves California to turn the lights off. Well, that's going to happen sooner rather than later if we don't do something about it. Al, cool. I know. I'm glad you know Major Williams. I really like his platform. I'm trying to get him on my channel. So keep an eye out. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to get him on, and we're going to chat with him about the real issues in California. So you guys, we've been on for an hour and a half. This is awesome. I want to thank you guys so much for being on here. Thanks for your comments, your super chats, and all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel. I will do more of these. Every time we have one of these Gavin Newsom conferences, I'd love to broadcast it for you. And then, yes, we will get some of the candidates on, like Major Williams. And then last comment here, boat lover, Secretary of State Padilla, another gem, told me they're using Dominion and Smartmatics. Yes, that's right. How can our votes be counted correctly? And honestly, my answer is I don't know. I think that, look, if I were in charge, it would be very simple. Like, hey, you need to come in and show us your ID and sign the voting thing. I mean, that is not that hard, right? And they complicate this stuff, and they send out mail-in ballots, and who knows, you know, whether they're right or not. It's just craziness. So anyway, sign the recall petition. Thank you guys for being here. We'll do the next one as well. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing you guys great videos. Hope to add value to your life and everything you're doing in the areas of real estate, business, finance, and a little bit of politics mixed in. So thank you guys for being on. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone.